The EduTech guys present a conversation from our live coverage of FETC in Orlando, Florida from Thursday, January 25th, 2018. Enjoy the program.
Go for it, Lauren.
All right. So I'm Lauren Wade. I am a STEAM teacher at Ocean Palms Elementary in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. So just a couple hours away. So I'm been teaching for 11 years, but STEAM and ed tech is kind of my passion. So on the side, I also run a small business called Kids Can Code.
Okay.
So I'm getting that up and running right now. We do after school camps, weekends, kind of Christmas, spring break, things like that.
Yeah.
So we're actually looking for a space to hold our camps because doing it after school, we can only service the students at our school. And I want to open it up to more people in the Jacksonville area. So do that. We do some work with Brain Pop. We're both certified Brain Pop educators, Jake over here next to me. So got our hands in a lot of different pots. I run teams for the Wonder League Robotics competition. So I actually had a team last year that was number 5 in the world. So 2 girls.
Awesome.
Yeah, they were called the Sis Squad. This year I have 10 teams, and it's crazy. But it's a lot of fun, and love to do a lot with coding and just kind of integrating everything all together. So
That's cool.
Awesome.
super fun.
I'm Jake O'Keefe, and I met Lauren, I think 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. She came in as the tech coach at our school, and she really just opened my eyes up to the technology world, and she brought me to my first FETC and then got me hooked up with Brain Pop and got me presenting. Last year I presented on Make a Map, Brain Pop Make a Map. This year, working with Brain Pop, working in the booth and educating teachers. This is my 7th year teaching. We both teach at Ocean Palms Elementary School. And
We were team teachers for 3 years. We both taught 4th grade together, and we work really well together. And what's rare to find is a teacher that actually, where you go, hey, check out this website, and they actually go on the website and are capable of following your directions. And that was where we really clicked, because I'd be, have you seen this website? And he'd be like, I'm looking it up right now. And okay, this is awesome, And so that's
cool.
how we became fast friends. Another one of our friends, Jen, is here, and the first day on the job, I'm like, you should check out Seesaw. And she's like, I just set up a class. Those are my kind of people that aren't willing, or that aren't afraid, that are willing to try out things as they go. So
and so I teach 2nd grade this year, and I'm working my way to try to be an administrator. I just got a master. I got a master's from Jacksonville University, another master's from University of North Florida, and educational leadership, and just trying to work my way up the ladder.
Yeah, that's very
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So what brings you to FETC? So you're doing sessions.
yes.
Okay.
Today I have just a poster session. So this is my 7th year coming to the conference.
Yeah.
And for the past 4 years, I've taught the paid workshops, 4-hour workshops. And so I would be spending a lot of time teaching and not as much time learning. And this year I wanted to kind of take a step back. And with STEAM, it's so new, and there's so many new things that are out. So I've really been going to a lot of sessions and trying to absorb as much as I can this year. So I have a poster session today, and then tomorrow I'm in the STEM playground, and I'm just going to be showing a million different robots. I have, I think, 7 different robots that I brought with me. So so that's what I'm presenting. And then both of us are working for Brain Pop too, just kind of sharing the Brain Pop love.
Okay, so let's start with give us a summary on your session, on your poster session.
So my poster session is all about Dash and Dot.
Okay.
I'm going to have actually 5 Dash and Dots with me, and then I'm just going to be sharing kind of my involvement with the Wonder League and how the competition runs. I brought all their different accessories, so you can do the launchers and use the sensors, drive them around. Dash and Dot are so versatile I use them. I teach pre-K to 5th grade, and I use them with every single age range. Even some middle school kids are kind of into it. And so I'm just going to be featuring how, it can teach coding concepts and robotics, and how you can cover a lot of ground with these cute little robots.
Yeah.
So that's my poster session. And then tomorrow I'm going to be featuring Dash and Dot, Ozobots. I've got some Parrot mini drones. I brought Puzzlets. What else did I bring? I brought my Bloxels. I've got this huge bucket of stuff that I brought to kind of
We
try to
strapped it into the
download
car.
into everybody's
Yeah.
brain.
We had the seatbelt in because she's like, "This is very important. We can't, we can't
that's
jerk it
right.
around or anything like that." So,
So, when do you sleep? No, I'm just.
Yeah, right. I know. I drink lots of coffee.
I was gonna say, do you drink lots of
yeah,
coffee?
yes.
I actually stole some coffee from the hotel to
I
bring to her.
literally, I texted him and I was like, "We are out of coffee. Can you please bring us coffee over?" So yeah, I mean, when I sleep, I feel like I dream about robots and what is the next thing. I was talking yesterday with Code with Root, which is the new, the Harvard developed robot that I'm
Didn't it
going
climb walls and
to
all
get
this
one.
kind of
Yes,
stuff?
I'm getting one.
magnetic. It's really
Yeah.
cool.
And it can hold the pen. It can hold a pen, and so you can have it draw things for you. Which right now I have, the kids code dash to go in a square. Now I can be like literally have the robot draw a square, but the sensors on the Root robot, it has sensors all the way around and on top. I mean, the sensors are where it's at as far as taking it the next step
That's
with
cool.
robotics. So I'm trying to, if you Root people, if you're listening, I want one today.
Hey,
Yeah.
we'll tell Tyler to make sure
That's
when
right.
he tweets this out, put Root in there.
Hashtag code with Root.
Hashtag code with Root.
Code with Root.
Code with Root. Yeah, he's sitting about 20 feet away.
I know, yeah. But yeah, I'm like, I was telling my friend today, I was like, I'm getting one of those robots. Because, I mean, the biggest thing is I like to try all these different robots, but I've got to try them and before I buy them, you
Yeah.
know? So give me one to try and then I'll probably buy 10.
So getting kids interested in coding is not a problem.
Absolutely not. What I love with the robotics piece of it all is that's what draws them in.
Yeah.
And then from there, so I've got middle schoolers that I taught in elementary school, with our little dash and dot and Ozobots and things. But now, so I'm working with some middle schoolers, and they're going through codeacademy.com, the free online that programmers are using, and they are creating their own websites. They're self-directed, and highly motivated, but they started with a block-based coding language and have grown from there. So it's really cool to see.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Don't want to leave you out.
No,
Yeah.
don't worry.
I
This is
totally-
how we work. She just goes, and I just kind of supplement
I was
whenever
like, you want to
it's
sit
needed.
cool.
together? I'll probably talk the whole time.
Yeah, I'm used to it by now, but
That's
it's
cool,
awesome.
though. That's cool.
This
So
is our-
let's talk Brain Pop.
Yeah.
Okay, so take our listeners through, because some folks have probably never heard of Brain Pop, although we see it everywhere we go, every
Right.
conference we do, but a lot of places don't see it. So
Right.
tell us why, how, what, when.
You go. You talk for a
Yeah,
minute.
so Brain Pop is an awesome website that it has a movie and a quiz, and that's what everyone really knows Brain Pop has, is the movie and the quiz. But in the last 4 years, they've really exploded and have added a lot of stuff with Make a Map. They have challenge questions that are more FSA style, or the standardized test style, where there's matching, multiple select, Venn diagrams. They also have Make a Movie, which is taking Make a Map and just putting it kind of on steroids, where kids are really being creative, and instead of the letter in the beginning where it's like Dear Tim and Moby, it's now taking Tim out of it and putting the student into the movie, and they're showing mastery or they're asking a question and then answering that question through creating a movie. And you can add Moby in there, and you can add all the different pictures from Brain Pop. You can use different movies that they have, and then they have this just released a couple months ago, a new coding section, which is JavaScript. It's not block based, which is interesting because it's a little bit harder.
Yeah.
And I think it's great to start kids out on JavaScript, because to go make the transition from Java to block is easier than going block to Java.
Yeah.
And I was working with it yesterday, and I was typing, my_graphic, and I forgot the one, and it just, the whole picture just was messed up, and I had
Yeah.
to go back, and everyone's like, you forgot the one, and so I went back and I had to go put the one in.
Yeah.
But it's just an awesome company, and what they really do is they really take care of their employees, and they treat us awesome, and they bring us here, and they're just really fun people to hang out with.
Well, and we're not even we're not employees. We're certified Brain Pop educators. So
Yeah.
Sure.
4 years ago, we sat through a training here at FETC and basically just learned all of the ins and outs. So, because I feel like a lot of people with Brain Pop nowadays, they're like, why am I going to pay for a a subscription to BrainPop, we're not going to just go on YouTube and find probably a equally relevant video to hook my kids. A lot of people that have the BrainPop subscriptions, they're just, okay, we watch a movie and we take a quiz. What people are not realizing is all of the tools that Jake's talking about. BrainPop has completely kind of changed their philosophy to where now they're all about student creation. And students, even like meaningful gameplay, they have over 700 games that are associated with all of their topics that are vetted that actually provide assessment data back to the teacher from the kids playing a game for homework, or in class. So we, like when Jake and I taught together, we would go in and we would do flipped instruction, but we would assign a BrainPop video because you can actually do assignments now. And so you can assign a BrainPop video. The kids log in, they see they have an assignment to watch the video, and then we'd be like, okay, and then play this game. Well, how many kids are actually going to do their homework when they have to play a game for homework?
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty awesome. Yeah. And so but from there, we're not even having to grade papers or anything, but the next day we can pull small groups according to the data that we receive from them playing the game.
That's
and
awesome.
it's all within. So all you have to do on BrainPop now is just make sure that the teachers sign up for their own accounts and that students have their own individual accounts, and then you have access to so many different things that people don't even realize. So that's kind of like, as CBEs, that's what our job is, to just spread the word that BrainPop is so much more than a movie and a quiz. And we do trainings at our school, and they take us out to conferences like this and cool
Share
things
the story.
like that.
So so for the listeners, for a teacher listening right now, how often do you use BrainPop in the classroom? Every day?
Every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, you could honestly, like I said, we flipped our instruction, especially with math topics. It's very easy. And there's so many, what I love now as a STEAM educator is there's so many of the games that they have. As a classroom teacher, you're kind of like, okay, how could I apply some of the different topics? But as a STEAM teacher, there are so many games that touch on every element of STEAM. And so it's really, just the cross-curricular learning is really good to see.
Within their game, they have this thing called Snap Thought, which is a little at the bottom of the screen. It's a little camera, and you click the camera, and it takes a picture of what the kids are looking at, and then the kids can explain what they're doing. So it's not like they're just, oh, I'm playing a game, oh, I'm done. Like a video game, oh, you pass level 1, pass level 2, pass level 3, oh, you're done with the game. You're actually stopping the kids, and you're saying, okay, take a picture of what you're doing and explain to me, what is it? Why did you put this there? And so they
journal their gameplay.
And so you're actually seeing their thought process as they're going through, and that takes some time because you have to teach them, okay, it's not just play, you have to stop, right? And then, during the instruction, sometimes I'll tell them, all right, stop. And, just to get them in the habit of doing that.
And listen. Sorry. Couldn't help it.
We're so on the same page.
So I mean, there's a lot of cool things that
And
so
that we can do.
I'm going to take a breath here a minute. We've heard a lot of the stuff, you've got your basket of bots and the stuff you're doing with BrainPop. So you're teaching second grade.
Correct.
Walk our listeners through what you're doing with all of this stuff and all these resources. What does that look like in your class?
So like what I'm learning from FETC and bringing it back to the classroom?
What are your students, what do you do with your students with this stuff in second grade?
Oh, I mean, just using technology to get them excited about doing whatever we're doing. So like just taking like VR, when we work together and when I get back, we're talking about the Statue of Liberty, doing like nonfiction about Statue of Liberty. Okay, put the headset of the VR and bring them to the Statue of Liberty and get them excited about a nonfiction topic that maybe is, instead of just reading a passage about the Statue of Liberty, bringing them there and showing them there. Our students are from Florida. Some of them have been in New York City. Some of them have not.
Sure.
And so it just kind of brings another element to getting them excited about learning instead of just reading and doing, a couple questions, just piquing their interest.
And so are you working with the different bots that she has with your second graders at this point?
I don't do it as much.
Okay.
I used Minecraft last year, and we did like area and perimeter, and I had like a rubric where they had to create, different buildings with area volume, because I taught 4th grade last year. Now I'm in 2nd grade. She does more of the bots. I have not got on donors choose and tried to get the bots, but they are really expensive.
I shamelessly beg for everything. So.
Hey, that's how you get a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But more of the things that I use is more internet-based that is free or that our school has paid for us.
But you know what's really cool that he does that a lot of teachers are really apprehensive about is our school is not a one-to-one school. Our school is, we are in an affluent area, but our school does not have, I think they provide 8 computers per class. Like
Wow.
we don't have a whole lot of technology resources. So what Jake allows his students to do is bring something from home, whatever kind of tablet, which, it's nothing new, but people are still scared to do that.
Sure.
And it is, I feel like, one of the most beneficial ways to really get kids engaged because, they're bringing in, even to my STEAM class, I see the kids once every 2 weeks, but I have kids that are showing up that bring their iPad when they know they have STEAM. And they're coming in with the apps loaded, ready to go. And it's just, and then they go home with whatever we're doing in that class and they're continuing to work and learn.
Well, and that's what we see with technology. What we notice is that when kids are engaged, they're not going to misuse the technology while they're engaged. It's the old adage, the idle hands are the devil's workshop.
Yeah.
So if you keep them engaged, and it sounds like you guys do, then you're not going to have that problem with BYOD or anything else, or them bringing a device into the classroom. Right. That's that fine line that districts are having and schools are having is running what software, what firewalls, what GoGuardian, Impero, whatever it might be to whitelist this or do that. Whereas let's start at the beginning. And it's great that you're not one-to-one yet because these kids are learning that we're supposed to use the technology for this purpose when we're here doing this job when we're at school. So that's really cool.
I think it's hard for teachers to give up that control and then have the students be better than them and then ask questions and the teachers being able to say, I don't know. And that's one thing that we say to our students. They ask us, how do you do this? Well, I don't know. Let's figure it out.
Right.
And that's part of the learning is figuring out how to solve the problem, not necessarily the answer itself, but what steps are we taking to get to the answer.
Well, and we are not scared to give the kids, the credit and let them figure things out and go, okay, this person got the answer. We have no idea. So,
and then you have the students that are the experts and, okay, go see that person, see how, pick their brain and figure out how they did it and work together instead of, all the students coming to us and saying, well, how do you do it? Well, now we have, 3 different teachers in the classroom, 2 of them are students, one's, an adult.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
And for our parents, it was a learning curve too. And still kind of is that we are not the sage on a stage. Like we're not the ones that always have all the answers, even when it comes to tech. We would explain at our, meet the teacher, we are going to teach your kids how to find answers. We're not going to teach them all the answers, but we're going to, teach best practices with Google and, how to get things online.
But you're creating problem solvers, and that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what's happening. So, and that's just a great move. That's a great direction to move in.
So I have a question kind of from a different angle.
Shoot.
You have aspirations of becoming an administrator. So taking all the stuff that you're learning, all the things that you have learned, the things that you're doing in your classroom, the stuff you're learning here, the stuff you've been presenting, how do you think all of that, and in what ways do you think all of that is going to affect you as an administrator should that role or when that role comes to you?
What's your agenda?
Yeah, well, I mean,
I wasn't trying to be so blunt about it, but
I like it. Well, I hope that I never forget what it's like to be in the classroom. And I hope that when I do become an administrator, that I remember how important, this conference is to me and how it just really, makes me feel alive when I come here. Sometimes there's certain people in school that kind of bring you down, and coming here, you're just around all these great people, and you just get rejuvenated, and you're just like, I'm on fire, and I'm ready to teach again. I also want, I was a non-traditional student growing up. I wasn't very much listen to a lecture, take notes, study, do well on the test. And it wasn't really until I got to college I kind of figured out my learning style.
Yeah.
And I really try to bring that into my classroom because I know that not all students learn that way, and that most students learn by doing things. And so when I become an administrator, I kind of want to implement that into my school, is that it's more having the kids do things rather than listening, taking notes, studying. And so that's kind of like my whole philosophy is
I feel like his goal is to be my boss.
yeah, it really is.
I'm not kidding.
That's the agenda.
Yeah, that's
There
his
it
agenda.
is.
For
There
so
it
many
is.
years, he's like, "What are you going to do when I'm your principal?" And I'm like, "I'm going to tell you all the things that I want you to buy for me."
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
So,
That's why she's behind this move. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
If I
yeah.
ever come and do an observation on Lauren, I don't even know what she would do. She'd be like, "Let's get out of here."
You know that I'm doing the best.
just let me do the observation.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
I'll tell you what to put in.
Yeah.
No, but Jake's going to be an awesome administrator. The relationships that he makes with our kids, I mean, you can look at even what I love about what he does is out at recess, all the teachers, we're all hanging out and taking a break, and, we're monitoring the kids, but Jake is out there on the kickball field playing hard in his suit and tie with all of the kids. The kids at our school love Mr. O'Keefe. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be his agenda, is to make amazing relationships, and then
Well,
I did buy
great.
Snapchat glasses so that when I play, I can take videos.
Oh, cool.
Which is really cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's going to be awesome. And that's a big deal. It sounds like you're going to be a great role model, not just for kids, but for your teachers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what a building needs. That's what a school needs. Is like, oh, I'm going to just model this. you know?
love
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
I think it's all about the love, and then you bring all the cool things in, and
Yeah.
when they see that you actually are invested in relationships with them, then it's not just like, oh, that's that lady that's got all the robots. It's like, that's that lady that has the robots that teaches us how to do amazing things with it. And
That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
And being a former athlete, I played for coaches that were kind of mean, and then I played for, my high school coach. I'm still great friends that I saw over winter break, and I think you play harder and you learn more from people that you like. If you don't like who you're learning from or who you're being coached by, then kids are like, oh, they don't like me. They don't like me. They have that mindset. But if they know you care about them, then they'll run through a wall for you, and they'll do whatever you want.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, just listen to you talk and listen to her talk about you.
I'm excited.
The teachers that you're going to be leading they're going to be very, very fortunate to have you as their leader, whoever that ends up being, however that ends up working.
Thank you.
I really do.
that.
I can see that there were a couple of key things that you made sure that, and I hope, like you said, I hope you always remember. What it's like to be in the classroom.
Yeah.
So even though there are administrative things you have to take care of, in your mind, you're like, wait, I remember when, and I don't want you to speak of what the current principalship is like, but
our current
there
principals are awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
well, there you
Yeah.
go. But
Yeah.
but there are many who aren't, unfortunately, and just for various reasons, and sometimes it's getting bogged down in the bureaucracy of
Yes.
It's
the
not their fault,
day-to-day.
usually.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's not-
it's not their
No.
fault. It's just the way things go. So I'm very excited to hear you say that, and even more than that, in a way, is what you're talking about, things like FETC, where you're getting to experience this and the takeaways. So when you are in the role and you've got educators coming to you going, hey, we want to go to FETC, and you go, yeah, I've been there. I know what it does for you guys. Yeah, let's make this happen.
Right.
Whatever, as much as you are able to within your power to be able to approve and do that. So, yeah.
And thank you, Miss Richardson, if you're listening. Thank you for sending Lauren and I. And then
Yes.
what happened is Miss Richardson, she got moved to a different school in December. So then we have a new principal, Miss Cantwell. And so appreciate for her letting us come here as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if listeners want to reach out to you and find out all the cool stuff that you're doing and ask questions and be part of your PLN and whatever else, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
So I am on Twitter. I'm Teacher Tate Wade. So that's where I put pretty much all of my professional stuff, with my little side hustle that I've got that I'm starting up. Kids Can Code. Right now we are just on Facebook and Instagram. So it's Kids Can Code Jax, Jax. We will, hopefully this weekend, we're getting our website up and running. So if anybody has any connections or wants to do some robot partnerships, I am totally open for that.
Cool.
We're looking for elementary, middle school kind of connections. So those are the two best ways to get in touch with me. And yeah.
Mine is my Twitter is JEOK2_SJC. I don't really tweet that often. I'm on a limited data plan, and it's blocked at school, and
There you
so
go, yeah. Makes it a little hard.
so I can't get off Wi-Fi and then tweet because my brother-in-law gets mad at me if I go over my data.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But they can always your school. Can they email you a school address?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I'm Lauren.Wade it's really long, stjohns.k12.fl.us.
Yep.
And mine is john.o'keefe at stjohns.k12.fl.us.
You've been listening to a recorded conversation from EduTech Guys, live coverage of FETC 2018. For more information about EduTech Guys, visit edutechguys.com. And thanks for listening.